Hello, so today we're going to be showing you how to make a recovery suit out of a sock for your cat after spay surgery. So first thing you want to do is get a sock. You want to have a pretty big one so that there's plenty of room, from here to here. And I found that the best kind is the kind that are like the little crop suits, because then that can go right where their neck is. Okay, so the first thing you need to do is get yourself a kitten. Hi. Okay. And you're gonna wanna measure from their neck to their front paws. Come here, baby. So for her, it's about 1 inch, okay? And then you're gonna wanna measure from their front paws to their back paws. So for her, it's about 3.5. Okay? Oh, we've got some friends, some helpers. Okay, hi, yes, thank you for coming. All right, so you're gonna take your sock, and this is gonna be the neck part here. And then this is going to be the body. This is where their chest is going to go. Okay, so the first thing you're going to do, it's got cat fur all over it, of course, is you're going to turn it like this so that the line is all the way down the middle, and kind of fold this down a little bit so that it's flat like that. Okay, then you're going to take your measurement, and you're going to go from, so she was about 1 inch, I'm going to go from here to here, and I'm going to give it a little bit of extra room, so maybe 1.25. Okay, this is going to be where the leg holes go, but you don't want the leg holes on the side because that's not how kittens are. So what I do is I go halfway between the line and the side. So that's about right here. And then same thing on the other side. Then I grab those two parts, put them together, making sure that you didn't grab the front part. And you're going to take some sharp scissors, and you're going to make the tiniest triangle ever. You don't want to make the holes too big, otherwise you're going to end up with socks. These are my prototypes. Otherwise, you're going to end up with sock holes like that, and then they can get out of it. Okay? And you're going to take your scissors and just make a little notch and another little notch. Super, super tiny, super tiny. And also, you want a sock that can stretch. So I know it looks tiny. But you can always go in and make the holes a little bit bigger. Oh, that one definitely is a little bit tiny. Once you have it on them, you can go in and make it a little bit bigger if you need to. But it's better to have it a little bit too small at first than a little bit too big. All right, so then you're going to lie it back flat again. And I have 2 kittens playing on the side of me, which is very helpful. And you're going to take your measurement thing, your measuring tape, and she was 3.5 inches from her front paws to her back paws. So I'm going to go like this, and about right there. And same thing, halfway between the line and the side. Halfway between the line and the side. Make sure you don't grab the front part when you grab these, and make the tiniest little notches. My scissors are super sharp. I was trying to use some other scissors and it just wasn't working. Okay, there we go. Right? If it has any like loose material or threads, you want to cut those off. So see how even though I made the tiniest little notches, the holes, when it stretches, it gets really big. So you have to be careful, because one day I had this on her, and all of a sudden she comes out and her neck was like through the wrong hole and her paws are both, and that's not comfortable for them. Okay? Then what you want to do is you're going to cut off the toe. So put it back nice and flat. And so what I usually do, you want to have enough room from the back paws to the end, because that's the part that you're trying to cover. Is, that's where she just got spayed last week. It's right here. So you want to make sure it's long enough to cover all the way down to the tail. Okay? So all you're going to do is just cut off the very end of the toe. You can always go back and cut off more if needed, but better a little bit than too much. Okay, now it's ready to go. Ta-da! So here's the one she wore the first day, and look how much the leg holes stretched out. Yeah, and this one I did a different way. This one I did as a sock, kind of like this. It wasn't one of those ankle socks, and I used this part instead and have this be the neck, which you can also do, but I don't know, I found that the ankle socks work best. So I'm going to show you how to do it on a sock where the ankle is the part that you're going to have for the body. Okay, so it's the same thing. You're just going to go like this. And it also helps if you mark where you're going to do it in Sharpie, because I did a couple where I cut the leg holes in the wrong place, and then that was irritating. Okay, great. So again, you're going to take your measuring tape. So this is going to be where the neck is this time. And I'm going to start measuring from below the little neck piece. So 1, and I'm going to go a little bit over. Okay. I'm gonna mark it with my Sharpie this time. And between here and here is about right there. And it's about right here. Okay. Then I'm gonna take those two pieces. You don't have to do it that way. You can just do one side and then the other side if you want to. I don't know. Actually, this is easier. And since it stretches, it's gonna stretch a lot. So I can always go back and make the holes bigger afterwards. Okay, and there's a little bit of a string, so I'm gonna cut that off. This isn't really the best sock to use because it has a lot of strings. So I wouldn't advise using a sock, this kind of material. All right, then we're gonna go back. We're gonna measure from the hole, 3.5. So this sock's actually too small, but this is all I had on hand. So I'm gonna show you how to use it doing this one. About there, about there. Because ideally, you would have lots more room before the heel. But this was the only sock I had. Because I don't wanna use a dirty sock, and I don't wanna use an old sock, because she just had surgery. You want it to be a new sock to keep it nice and sterile. It's also a good idea to make a few of these so that you can change it every day, because every day you want to take off the recovery suit. I was taking it off the recovery suit and letting her be free for like an hour or so, but I was watching her, and as soon as she started licking it, I put the recovery suit back on. But you want to check that wound twice a day, and you want to change this twice a day, especially because, you know, she got poop on one of them one day. So yeah, we didn't like them. Okay, and I'm gonna, since I got one that's a little bit too long, I'm gonna cut here and just see what happens. All right, ta-da! All right, we're gonna put this on her and see how it looks. See, I would not recommend this kind of sock because look at all this stuff, right? You just want the nice smooth socks. This one's super thin, which was perfect. This one was perfect. I got this at the dollar store. You're being too rough. Stop doing that to your brother. Okay, I'm gonna put this on him, on her. I mean, but it's a little bit too tight right here, so I'm gonna take my scissors. Be careful because they're squirmy. And just very carefully, tiny little notch. There we go. Now it's much bigger. There, good. Okay, good. And it's gonna stretch. I don't like how it's doing this on her neck. Like, I guess I didn't leave enough room there. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and come in here and very carefully put a little notch to make it a little bit more loose. But I found this kitten recovery suit out of a sock is brilliant. I had bought a kitten recovery suit online and it was great. However, she's 10 weeks old now and she weighs about almost 3 pounds, but it was way too big on her. So I safety pinned it and it was great and it worked for about a day. And then on the second morning, she hopped on my bed and I was like, where's your kitten recovery suit? Look at her looking at me. And so that didn't work out, so I'm gonna return that. So I'm gonna show you a few different suits that I made before this one and tell you how I rated each one and why or why not they did or did not work. I made this one, and this one worked pretty well actually until the paw holes started to stretch out too much. This is the leg part of a sock. This one was super adorable. But again, I mean, the leg holes started out super small, and then, you know, inevitably from putting it on and then her wearing it all day, the leg holes got stretched out. But I was able to wash these a few times so that I could reuse them. You might want to practice with a couple different socks first. That's what I did with some old socks first. See, this one was way too small when I first did this one. It was super cute, but it was way too small, way too small. And that was before I had started measuring. I made 2 different ones out of these socks using the different parts. So on this one, I used the ankle part down, and this would have been the neck part right here. And it would have been just fine. Actually, it was, yeah. It would have been just fine, except it wasn't long enough from here to here. So see, really you want to cut it off before the heel. So that was a loser. And then on this one, I used from the heel to the toe. And this would have been the neck part. But the material ended up being terrible because, look, it's all frayed and stuff. And she would have eased, and it's too stretchy. So she easily would have been able to get out of that. So that one didn't end up working at all. Don't be surprised at first if it takes a little bit of time for your cat to adjust to the recovery suit. It took Lily about an hour to get used to it. So that's it. That's how you make a kitten recovery suit for spay surgery. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions. Thanks so much. See you next time.